right into it. So I've got my intake that I've made fully custom, and I need to put a plate on it because as you can see, there's no plate on the front for my throttle body. So first things first, I'm gonna go over the parts that I have. Hold on a minute. If you haven't seen me build these headers yet, definitely click that link above and catch up because this was quite the adventure on making this. I made 2 sets and it's going to be quite impressive when it's all done. So stay up to date with it and we will do this together. I've got my 2.5-inch aluminum piping and I've got my 3 couplers. I'm not needing one because I'm gonna be welding it right to my V-band on my turbo. And most of all, my throttle bodies I bought 75mm Mustang V8 throttle bodies. They're 75 mil. And these were dirt cheap. I got these for 35 bucks a piece. So I'm really pumped about that. All I gotta do is get a TPS and I will be good for that. Holy moly. So this is the first time I've actually compared to the stock. This is the stock and this is the Mustang one. And as you can see, this is very small compared to that. Very small compared. So I'm very excited about that. Any bigger, it would have been too big, but this is a perfect size for what I'm gonna be making for around 500-600 horsepower. I'll be able to spool the turbo up a little bit quicker because of me being able to get more air to the engine without boost, and then it'll actually have more exhaust and then spin that turbo up. This is very, very small. It's actually pretty disappointing looking at it compared to that. So this is going to be much, much better for me. From what I can see, it's not even quite 60 millimeters compared to this one where it's over 70. So 75 mil on this one, and that's quite the difference for sure. And it's going to make a big difference in sound in the engine alone, because when that throttle body opens, the exhaust is gonna get really deep because there's a lot of air going through it. It's gonna sound like a different machine, that is for sure. I'm really pumped about this, and I can't believe how much lighter they are. This is like aluminum, and this is cast aluminum with this stupid idle air control on the bottom, which who needs that? I should use these as cup holders in my MX-3, to be honest, because it's a pretty mint fit, not gonna lie. Big difference. So that's where she's gonna sit, and it's got a little bit of room on each side. So what I'm gonna do first, so I'm gonna get a hole saw that's the same diameter as the outside of the butterfly valve here, and I'm going to put a hole into a piece of aluminum, just like so. So I got one right here. Then I can line it up with the throttle body and then trace around the outside and then mark the holes right where they need to be. And then I have to measure the outside of this. Get down. Okay, I got my hole drilled here. I'm gonna put my throttle body on top of the hole, open it, make sure it's clearing everything, which it is, and then leave it in that position. Then I'm gonna punch where I need the holes for the bolts. Then I can drill them out, and then I can basically measure out what size I need for the actual intake, and then I'm pretty much good to go for this. Bam! All right, so I got these 2 flanges done. So what I'm gonna do is get them all in the right size, because as you can see, it's just kind of obnoxious and disgusting. So I'm gonna have to do some measuring and sanding, and then I can figure out how I'm gonna bolt them, might stud them. I think studding them would be best, so and then I can just kind of like throw the throttle body on it, you know what I'm saying? 2 intakes here, so what I've got to do is sand this to get it perfectly smooth. I haven't messed with that at all yet. So I need to get it smooth, and I need to get them the exact same length. And then I will start sanding these to get them to fit. And I think I'm gonna overhang them just a bit, just so it's a lot easier to get a good solid like weld that's gonna seal properly rather than having it flush. That's asking for trouble. So I'm just gonna have it oversized just a little bit and then see how it works. Some nice little brand new bolts that I got in a kit off Amazon, so I'm gonna throw them in. So I went all through this pain to drill holes and everything, but it's actually gonna work for a jig. But I decided that bolting it is silly because the only way for me to actually attach this nut and bolt to this flange is to JB weld it. So I would have JB weld inside of my intake, and that would be a potential engine failure, because if it sucked up the JB weld, if that popped off, and then I would probably take out my valves from a whole bunch of JB weld going in there. So that's risky for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna weld all through the inside of the flange right here. Then I'm going to take the bolt out and then fill in those holes, and then I can attach it to my intake. It's gonna be easy, and it's going to be quick, which is what I like as well. Nice, so I got it all ground down inside, so it is still the true 75 mil. I'm gonna have to sand it and make it all nice, but I gotta flatten out these fills I've made because it actually doesn't fit on the throttle body because it's got a little bit of protrusion. So I gotta get those flat. All right, these guys are looking fresh, so now I can get it into the position I want it to. Make sure the actual butterfly valve is opening in the correct direction I want it to be, and same with my throttle linkage and cable, and then I can weld it in. It's actually very important which direction the butterfly valve will open, because I have it opening like this, so when it's hitting the butterfly valve, it's shooting up, the arrow I just put down there, and that is going to make the air go and hit the top of the actual intake, and then the cylinders can grab it all they want, and there's air for everything. If it was upside down like this and open down, the first cylinders are gonna get a pile of air on low throttle input, and that makes tuning nightmare, and I don't want that. So I am positioning it this way, so with light throttle inputs, the air is actually gonna hit here and the back, rather than just going down to the front cylinders. So I'm pumped about that, really thought all this out. So I got this all prepped and that as well, and I'm going to weld it on this way, so the actual butterfly opens the way I want it to, and then I'll be good to go. Just gonna do a quick clean on this, and then I'm gonna do a full beat all the way around. She's hot, but wham, bam. Not bad, not bad. So it's all hooked up. It's on there for good, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand this until the weld, so it doesn't look so trashy. Just, it'll look like that and just be nice and even. So I'm gonna sand that down and it'll look really good. And then that is completely done. That's all done, nice and smooth. So now I have to figure out TPS sensor. So what it does is it sends a signal to my computer, tells my computer in my car what position my actual throttle is at. So this, as you know, is a Mustang throttle body, 75 mil, and not an MX3 one. So what I'm getting at is my factory one obviously won't bolt on. What I could do is I could buy a Mustang throttle body, but it'll probably cost more than what I pay for the actual throttle body here. And the throttle body cost me 35 bucks. So I'm going to modify my stock one on. It came with a plate to adapt to the actual Mustang one, but that's obviously not gonna work. So I took apart my throttle position sensor on my MX3, and it has this mechanism as well. So this is meant to go in there and turn the actual throttle position sensor. So I need to attach this piece to the shaft in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave this aluminum shaft down as much as I can until it fits perfectly on there and when it goes on top. So and then all I have to do from there is put a dab of JB weld in there, put it onto the position I want it to, and tighten it down. I'm going to have to tap holes in there or just put wood screws in or whatever. But screw it in with JB weld on it. And then 12 hours later, it should work because all it's got to do is spin this little piece of plastic in here. So here's the piece I shaved down. It's notched, so it goes in. It's done right until I can get this piece and the throttle position sensor on over top of that aluminum bracket. Okay, I'm good there. So what I've got to do now is drill holes, screw this in, and then I'm going to get JB weld, put a dab of JB weld on there, and just place it on there, and it'll still be removable because this piece comes out. So it's actually gonna function, which is very unusual with my modifications. That's honestly so sweet. So I would screw it in, obviously, because that would be disrespectful to my car because, yeah. So I got it perfectly centered with the wood screws, and it is still adjustable, so I can loosen them, and I can yaw it to the left or yaw it to the right, so that is good. So the next thing I have to do is I have to JB weld this piece onto the shaft that I originally was sanding down, and then this should work with no problems at all. I think this is gonna work. It's only taking me like 20 minutes, so this is a huge bonus. One thing I'm all about is getting things done with things I have laying around the shop. Oh my God, though, like with the throttle body, it actually makes such a difference in the whole look. Oh my God, it looks like a freaking massive engine. You can tell it's a V6 now. Like with the old intake, you could never tell, but this is fairly obvious now. Oh my God. I got the JB weld setting in there, and it's already working. I got the quick stops in there, and I think this is going to work perfectly. The only thing is that it's spinning the opposite way that was before in the actual TPS. But worst case, I think I can spin wires, so reverse polarity, or I can just update my settings in my Mega Squirt, because you actually set that up for when my Mega Squirt's on. I put my pedal to the ground, hit that it's at full throttle, then I let go, and then I make sure it's at idle and everything with the throttle body, and then I hit another button, and then I have it fully set. So I think I can probably either switch wires or do it in Tuner Studio. So I'm like done, guys. I can't believe it. Like, that wasn't bad. I have a throttle body on there. The throttle body is welded to this plate, and that plate is welded to that intake. So I literally can't remove that. But yeah, hopefully I don't need to remove it. So that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Installed insane Mustang aluminum throttle bodies on my MX3. So I did 2 intakes. There's one over there. And things are getting real serious. The next thing I'm going to be doing is the cold pipes. I'm doing quite the setup. So definitely watch out for that. It is going to protrude out of the hood. So I'm giving a little bit of a sneak peek on you. But yeah, it's going to be very cool. So definitely watch that next episode as well. And if you don't mind, join my channel. Contribute a little bit. It's simple as that. Some goes to donations, most goes to me, and it helps me build crazy stuff like this. I budget build everything. This probably doesn't look like I budget build. I got a sweet deal on the turbo. I didn't pay for this exhaust at all. My buddy works at an exhaust place. They make food grade exhaust. All I paid was the gas and filler rod to do this, and the gas and filler rod to do the actual intake, other than the actual aluminum sheet as well. So I know it's like $40 in just the sheet. So realistically, like, it's not bad. So I'm doing things as cheaply as I can. If you haven't heard, I have a join button on my channel now. You can join and subscribe to that, and it will give monthly subscriptions to me, very low amount, and it would be hugely appreciated for me because that will help the build out a lot, if you know what I'm saying. And I'll get new gear, like for the cameras, and I don't have a computer. I don't even edit on my computer. I don't have one that works, so I edit on my phone. Yeah, if you enjoy the channel, definitely consider joining and helping me on this build with us. This is us. This isn't just me. This is us. This is a whole community now. People are watching, people are enjoying, and people are learning, and that is literally my dream. I'm very pumped about it. So like, comment, subscribe, and join, and we'll see you in the next one.